we have a bunch of new details about Hogwarts Legacy to talk about, and honestly, I'm more excited than ever. The game is looking visually stunning and doesn't disappoint each time they show it off more. The more and more I learn about the different mechanics of the game, the more excited I get to play it. So in this one, we're going to round together a whole ton of new things you need to know about the game, from broom flight to combat to open world details to beasts and more. So if you're excited for Hogwarts Legacy, I'd love to know what other games have captured your interest recently. Do you have anything that you really enjoyed and that you think stands out from the crowd? Let me know in the comments down below. And do click like because it really does help us out, and subscribe so you don't miss out on all these updates from us here on the channel. So let's start it off by talking about the broom flight and a bunch of details about it. Because the game is set in the 1800s, the wizarding world haven't yet mastered the tricks and methods of flight to its fullest. In a recent showcase, they joked about how they aren't at the Nimbus 3000 just yet, more like number 11. So while flying, you'll have a sort of stamina gauge that will fill or deplete depending on your movements. Your broom will have different speeds and upgrades, and while flying you can essentially boost or turbo to fly at maximum speed, which will then deplete the stamina bar. However, a certain upgrade can actually let you travel at max speed while near the ground without this gauge draining. It looks like if the gauge depletes, you will fly to the ground, but I'm not 100% sure on that one just yet. You can actually change your broom by buying new ones from a shop in Hogsmeade in the broom shop that will have a variety of different visual options. These, however, are all cosmetic, so they likely do not improve the actual flying speed of your broom. However, you can upgrade your broom by doing missions for the shopkeeper, which will then unlock these upgrades for you to buy. You may have seen us talk about the mounts in a previous video and how amazing the mounting animation is. Well, in this showcase we got to see this again, but instead for the hippogriff, which is also a pre-order bonus by the way. I'm still amazed at how this animation looks and how it expands out the magical bag. I think it's the smoothest and coolest animation we've seen for mounts in quite a while. From this section though, we can see how the mount can be used on the ground and also in the air. Flying looks incredible, and it does look pretty fast too, so these are definitely a viable option for traversing the map. We also know that there will be a moment, likely after a early main mission, that will unlock the open world for you. From this moment, it's confirmed that you can go anywhere that you want in the world, even to more difficult areas if you want to. But now let's go over some open world details. While Hogsmeade is the only all-wizarding village in Britain from the lore, within the game they've actually filled the surrounding area with new populations and locations to explore and encounter. So we can expect a lot of new and small dwellings or hamlets filled with characters and quests and missions for us to complete. There could be vendors, puzzles, challenges or secrets to find in these locations, and they are displayed on the minimap by these icons, which essentially tells you can go there and do something. In a recent showcase they mentioned that some of these can increase your inventory space or expand your spell knowledge, so they're definitely going to be worthwhile doing. Another awesome detail about the world is the change in seasons that will completely change the landscape from a vibrant summer look to a cold and snowy winter look. So depending on the time of year as you progress through the game, just like in the movies, the actual landscape will change as the seasons change with them, and it will remix the look of the world. There's also a day-night cycle, so you can expect some decorations of the environment to change depending on the in-game time of day, such as candles being lit and so on. But now we've got a bunch of combat details, and some of them are very exciting and cool. Within the game we know that there's going to be 2 combat arenas that everyone can access. One of them is in the Forbidden Forest called the Dark Arts Battle Arena. This is a place where you can defeat waves of enemies to earn cosmetics for your character, and in this arena you can actually access spells even if you haven't unlocked them. So you can also use this area as a preview for the spells that you want to unlock without having to commit to them. One extremely cool thing that we have seen and that is confirmed is that Avada Kedavra is actually an instant kill spell like it is in the lore, even for larger enemies like trolls. To compensate for this, it will have a much longer cooldown compared to other spells, but I think this is super cool, and you know you're going to feel like a true badass Slytherin using that spell. On top of this, we know a little bit about how cursing enemies will work. When you curse an enemy, it will show a cross on them. However, you can actually curse multiple enemies, and this will essentially link their fates together and cause them to share damage between them. This can be used for all kinds of combos, but it's also confirmed that when you curse a group of enemies and then cast Avada Kedavra on one of them, it will instant kill the entire group of cursed enemies. So there's some really cool combos you can do in this game. Another awesome combat detail is your ancient magic meter, which is basically the blue combo meter. As you progress through the game, you unlock new ancient magic powers that will use this ancient magic meter, and some of those include throwing objects at enemies with the R1 button. However, another one is that you can press R1 and L1 together on an enemy that will let you launch a powerful magic attack against them that kind of looks like an instant takedown. However, However, this will use up a segment of your combo bar to execute it, so you have to time these wisely. When damaging enemies, however, and building up your combo meter, sometimes enemies will drop little blue orbs on the ground. This is to promote you to move around and pick them up because they give you a chunk of your ancient magic combo meter back, which then lets you go on to do even more powers at the remaining enemies. Another combat detail is the tools and potions you can bring in and use in combat. These potions and plants come from the Room of Requirement, where you brew and grow them yourself and then use them as consumables in battles to defeat enemies quicker and easier. Some examples are the Rockskin Potion that will reduce the damage you take, the Wiggenweld Potion that will heal you, but also a really useful one is the Focus Potion. This will dramatically speed up your spell cooldowns, and that includes Avada Kedavra, so you can use this potion to cast it a second time much faster. On top of this, you have combat plants. Some of these can be placed and they act as turrets that will shoot enemies, while others like the Mandrake can stun enemies, so these are going to be very useful as well. But now we have to talk about the Room of Requirement, because you can actually customize the area and decorate it as much as you like, from the architecture to the themes and the look of the space. However, it doesn't end there, as you also have conjurations, which are essentially decorations like rugs, plants and other items that you can shrink and place anywhere you like, and you can unlock more of these from Hogsmeade shops and quest rewards. So you can really personalize this space to however you want it to be. One cool thing about this area as well is the enchanted loom that lets you upgrade your gear and unlock better stats and magical properties and traits on them. The gear that you get in the game will have unique stats, and you can learn more about gear by taking them here and even identifying some gear at the identification station. Interestingly though, all gear can be changed to take on the appearance of anything else. Essentially, the game will have a transmog system, so you can make your character look exactly how you want without having to worry about your gear's stats. Within this area is also a place where you can tend to your beasts. Here you can interact, pet and feed the beasts, which will then reward you with items like fur and so on that you can use to upgrade your gear. You will find beasts in the open world in beast dens, where you can then rescue them and bring them here. There are poachers and other dangers outside, so really you're providing them a home and taking care of them. You can even name your beasts, so each one is unique. Through progressing through the game, you'll actually unlock more conjurations that you can then use to help automate the process of caring for these beasts, like feeding them automatically. But progressing will also let you expand this space and unlock different themed areas for your beasts. On top of all of this, you can also conjure decorations like trees, wells, and all kinds of objects in this area to really make it unique to you. So as far as customization goes, it looks like it ticks all the boxes. Do you know any details that I've missed out in this video? Put them down in the comments so we can all learn together as a community. And definitely click like while you're down there, because it really does help support us, and subscribe so you don't miss out on all the latest news from us here on the channel. There are 2 more videos on the screen now that we think you'll really enjoy if you did enjoy this one. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to, but if you did find this video interesting, you're probably going to find these ones interesting too. And then tell us what you think after watching in the comments down below.